I have made a lot of videos about this, but honestly, I got the inspiration from Smurf Vlogs. The guy absolutely is very funny and amazing, and he's been on point with every prediction that he's had for season 3. So I'm gonna leave maybe a kind of like a link in the card somewhere up there for you guys to check out his videos, because it is hilarious to watch him. I laugh every time. But enough of that. This is about the inspiration that I had from one of his videos that he made months ago. And it was about Shawn and Katy, and Shawn and Angela, and talking about the dynamic of the two, and how and also how Angela is going to be a big part of season 3. Now, here's the problem that I have with this, and it's not really so much the fact that I don't like Angela. At the time when Angela and Shawn became an item, seeing an interracial couple on television on a sitcom at that time was not only, I guess you could pretty much say it was somewhat historical, but maybe not so much. Now, I'm not going to really say historical, but it was something that you don't usually see a lot of. Like, especially in that time when that happened. But the one problem that I had with that show is the fact that how they literally had Angela like Dr. Jekyll and Miss Hyde. There were points where she loved Shawn and just with all of her heart. And then there were moments where she was completely disconnected from him and like finding reasons not to love him, even though she did. And her dad came out and said, okay, your behavior is a bit weird. If your father says that you know you love him, just say it. That means there's something wrong with you. But other than that, the problem is that I don't think it was pretty controversial at the time. Not a lot of people really wanted to see Shawn with a black woman or a woman of color. Let's be honest. That's just my theory. It was something that was considered to be very controversial at the time, and we didn't necessarily see that on our screens always. For me, I loved it. It was a change. It was something that you wouldn't usually see, and I thought that was great. Not to mention that those two had amazing chemistry, and we had an opportunity to see their ups and downs. But how they wrote her character is just something I didn't like. Like, it wasn't consistent at all. They made her happy, they made her angry, they made her bitter, they pushed her away. They changed her emotions just like I changed my clothes. And then in the very end, she ups and leaves with her dad? Really? And then the reason why she didn't like him was because she was afraid that he would leave her like her mom? Even though he pretty much has lived the experience of being left. So it made no sense. But in my opinion, they did the same exact thing to Angela like they did with Charlie in Girl Meets World. They never gave Charlie an opportunity or a chance to see whether or not he was good for Riley. But because of the competition with Lucas, they wrote him off by making him a mediocre, creepy character and found a way just to get rid of him. I felt they did the same exact thing with Angela. They never really made her the person that I really believed should have been with Shawn. But now that Angela came in season 2, they made her the most disconnected, unfeeling, cold-hearted individual I have ever seen. It made me so mad after years of not seeing your ex. Don't get it twisted. Yeah, they're married. She got married again. Big freaking deal. When you see somebody that you loved with all your heart from college, you're gonna have feelings. And they made her to where she had no feelings for Shawn at all. And he's supposed to deal with it? They made her so cold and callous, in my opinion. And it just bugged the crap out of me. They didn't even try to make it dramatic. And that's just what bugged me the most. His heart was still on Angela after all those years. And if Angela came back and gave her heart to him, he would have had her. And she would have had him without a shadow of a doubt. Now moving on from Angela to Katy. The one thing that bugs me about Disney is that Disney gave them less episodes to work with, which means that they're actually developing a relationship that we never saw. When we saw Girl Meets Upstate, he already had the picture of their first date on the wall. And it was around the time of Girl Meets Hurricane, and they were in middle school at the time, which means a year and a half, maybe 2 would pass by. We never had an opportunity to see these two grow as a couple. So we don't know how to feel. So in the very end, when he pulled out the ring, it felt rushed because we never had an opportunity to see them grow as viewers. We just had to accept, oh, ring, yay! No, dude, come on. If you're doing something as huge as Boy Meets World, a continuation of Boy Meets World, you got to have the consistency down. They did throughout all these years, and they still do now. But when it comes to the relationships, unfortunately, they have less to work with because Disney has their episode quota. And in my humble opinion, I think Disney is scared to death that their original shows are going to be eclipsed by Girl Meets World. Hence why they're giving them less to work with. But that's just my theory here. But other than that, when it comes to Katy and also somebody as well known as Shawn, you have to have this relationship developed for anybody to care about them. I thought Katy was a train wreck, but I thought that she did everything she could to try to get her daughter, try to keep a roof over her head for her daughter, and try to build a relationship with her daughter. But when it comes to love, this chick's a train wreck, and it's a given that she is a train wreck. Even Chet, the ghost of Chet, thought that she was a train wreck. So how in the world can we accept a relationship to grow if we never see it? And in the very beginning, when we finally had a chance to meet her, how can we think, oh, this is the best person for Shawn, when she came out as a train wreck the first time we saw her? How can we agree with that? We can't. The one thing I'm going to say is this. When it comes to both women and which person is better for Shawn, how Angela was written, no. Like how she was written in Boy Meets World, no. How she was written in Girl Meets World, no. She doesn't deserve a chance with Shawn. And as for Katy, we really haven't had a chance to see the relationship grow to know whether or not she's the best person for him. I'm just saying. In my opinion, it should be neither one. They didn't, I'm not going to blame the writers here because the writers are working with a very minimal plate. Like they have so less to work with, to where that no matter how much they want to expand it and actually have some kind of exposition when it comes to some of these relationships, they can't. They won't be able to because they're given so less to work with. And that's the one problem that bothers me. If you want to start something with the kids, fine. There's a way that you can tie up loose ends when it comes to the main six. But when it comes to the adults that have already had their series that lasted 7 seasons, it's going to be hard to do a continuation for that. Especially add that in the show and make it to where you actually care about these people. Because I'm going to be honest, I don't care as much about Katy as I did when I first saw her season 1 and partially in season 2. But at this point, I don't care much about her because we really didn't have an opportunity to see her grow as a person and to know after Girl Meets Forgiveness, it was great to know that she actually did somewhat forgive her husband, but in my way that she kind of didn't. And it looked like she still held a grudge. So in my humble opinion, I don't even know whether or not this is going to work going by season 2. But we didn't have an opportunity to see whether or not she sees things differently because of Shawn. So I'm like, okay, how is this going to work? I don't think it is. And when it came to Angela, they screwed her character up years ago. And they made her a very bitter, very unforgiving person. And when she finally decided to be real about herself, she moved on with the quickness with no problem, completely disconnected like that. And they did the same thing in a horrible fashion to her with season 2. So honestly, neither. That's just my opinion. What's yours? Do you honestly think that Angela deserves a chance, or do you think that Katy's the best person, even though we've seen less of her and actually have not seen the relationship grow? I want to hear y'all's thoughts about this. Niche Girl 30 signing off. Peace out. Later.